a collection of men's groups around the Nelson Tasman area and in Kaikoura came together on International Men's Day in November 2022 to support men and showcase the work done in men's groups. The first men's group in Nelson started around 30 years ago, and that first group is still operating. Now there are at least 2 groups on the West Coast, 2 in Golden Bay, 3 in Motueka, 5 in Nelson and 1 in Kaikoura. The groups have been meeting together for long weekends, twice a year at Lake Rotoiti, and many gatherings have been held at the Tui community in Golden Bay, including Tracks, a rite of passage for youth transitioning into adulthood. Over the years, the groups tended to have kept to themselves, so a group of men decided it was time to be more visible and spread the word about what happens in the groups and how the groups can help men navigate the challenges that they face. The traditional Kiwi image of a strong bloke who can cope with everything, who's unemotional and just gets on with the job, doesn't work well for many men today. Men have generally been brought up to cope and fix things, to be in control and take charge. This way of looking at things has not only been devastating for women, but caused great harm for men, especially when we're not able to live up to the expectations of others or ourselves. Increasingly, men are being left behind, failing at school and suffering from depression and suicide. 1 in 3 men is subject to family harm. Increasingly, men want to live a life in more wholesome ways that truly support our families and communities rather than dividing them. Our groups usually meet in members' houses every week or 2 weeks. Nobody's in charge. That helps to stop us from just falling back into traditional role models. It provides an opportunity to support each other in our daily lives. Many groups also have 1 or 2 weekends away together through the year with what we call a deep dive. This builds strong, connected groups and allows men to explore their lives in a way that's not possible just in an evening meeting. The groups are free unless there's something small like a venue charge. We usually meet in members' homes and we have a talking stick, which is used both in North American Native and Māori cultures, so that the person who has the stick holds the floor. This allows the space for a man to speak freely without being rushed or pushed, to find a way forward rather than just devolving into conversation. And rather than having rules, we more typically talk of guidelines that help us to maintain the integrity of the work that we do. In order for the men to feel safe enough to be vulnerable to talk about more personal aspects in our lives, there's an understanding that what is said in the group remains confidential. And we speak about ourselves. We use I statements rather than preaching or just repeating personal opinions. If we do talk about politics, religions, or topics like that, we talk about how it has affected us personally. We don't give advice to others, but we might respectfully challenge fellow members to see their situation from a new perspective and encourage them to empower themselves. Each person takes the time that they need, remembering that there may be others who want time to speak. Topics that regularly come up are relationships, family, career, health, ageing, and coping with isolation. And silence is just a part of the process. Now, in everyday life, if there's a pause for any length of time, everybody starts to feel a bit uncomfortable. But in a sharing circle, that silence creates a space for reflection until somebody feels the urge to stand and speak. Each group is autonomous, so they all have their own way of working that suits them. Some have a lot of contact outside their sharing time. Some choose a theme for the night. Some challenge each other more than others. There could even be specialised groups such as an older men's group or groups with a particular cultural background. Men's groups are peer support groups and they're not counselling and it's not therapy. People with more entrenched mental health needs should gain the professional support that they need before coming into a group. Let's hear some men talking about their experience of men's groups.
Hi, my name's Ben. I'm a member of the Kaikoura Men's Group. I found it really beneficial to be able to just be there and express myself in a way that I don't usually. Just other like-minded guys that have got issues the same as me. And it's just really good to just feel at ease and express yourself.
I found the friendship with with solid men, I found acceptance, I found support, and I found encouragement to bring myself in for who I am, not just who I am out there at work or in a sports club or whatever, but who am I inside of me, on a soul level, bringing myself in a way, sharing my gifts, and it gives me the right to take your gifts, like.
Yeah, hi, my name's Vic Foster. I'm part of the Kaikoura group. I've found the group one of the best things I've done for many, many years, especially with depression. Is helping me so much. Learning about what other people are going through the same journey makes it so good to hear when someone else is sharing the same journey with you. And just seeing the blokes around me getting so much out of these groups, it's probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life, I think, and I'd have to recommend it to anyone who's struggling a bit to find someone to be confident with. And like as I said today, it's a band of brothers. You can tell each other whatever you want to tell each other.
Yeah, men's group for me is how I can contribute, because I've received so much. When I look back, where I was 2.5 years ago and not having anyone to talk to about stuff. And you guys all supported me, and I will always be grateful, and I like to come along to offer what I can and know that if something happens in my life that you'll be there for me. So that's my sixpence worth.
Yeah.
Hey, so my name is Trevor, and I'm living and working in the Kaikoura area for the past maybe 15 months or so. And one of the first things I done when I arrived here was to check out whether there was a men's group, because I suppose in my journey I've done a lot of healing in terms of journaling, writing my life story, sharing some of my experience online. But what I haven't ever done was to sit down amongst a bunch of men and begin to share how I'm feeling, and it has turned out to be incredibly powerful and enhancing to my life. I guess I arrive to the session sometimes maybe with some heaviness, and I go away feeling quite light, and I recognise the next morning after speaking with some of the guys, there's a new flow of energy, a creativity, and a jolliness and a lightness that has come from sitting with these guys from Kaikoura and saying, hey, this is how I'm feeling.
So I started going to men's group, and it was really challenging at first, really challenging to kind of speak from my heart. I found I was speaking from my mind quite often. And I think what I realised through it, it's funny now because it's totally transformed my relationship with men in terms of the place of men in my life. I'm actually probably more comfortable with male company now than I am with female company, and I think what was missing always when I was younger was like a lack of emotional honesty with the men I had in my life when I was younger, and now I have that honesty, and I just fucking treasure my friendships with my friends, with my male friends and my female friends, and they have wonderful. It's enriched my relationship. It's helped me grow up. I feel like, so for me, coming here is like you guys and the guys I've been in groups with over time have raised me. I didn't have a positive male role model when I was growing up.
The good thing about the group is that you don't have to come along and actually say anything. You can get a lot of benefit out of just listening to what other people have to say, and it's just a very it's a very unifying type of feeling.
I'm new to the men's group, and having sort of mentors, or role models, or anything. I was just sitting there listening to you, Vinny, and thinking, what does it mean to me? And just I dropped my brother-in-law to the airport, and I was telling him where I'm going to, and the work that I'm doing, and people I'm involved with. And he said that just the stigma for men just to bottle stuff up, and just
carry on, you know, don't keep things to yourself, don't share it. But this to me is about making yourself vulnerable, you know, and having that safe space to be vulnerable and not be judged and be listened to and have feedback. And that's really important to me.
I don't know, I like that energy. It sort of appeals to me, and it feels quite real with us guys. And I don't feel like we're sort of hiding anything. Oh God, should I say that? Should I not say that? So that feels good for me. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I like sort of hanging out and meeting and hearing stories. And basically, we all got going through the same old shit. A lot of us guys, you know, either from childhood stuff or families. Functional families or whatever. So, you know, sometimes you go along and you haven't got much to say, but it's nice to support each other, and that's a big part of this men's group, is just sort of being there for each other.
New Zealand, but from where I'm from in the UK, and it's a very similar thing about being staunch. You don't talk about anything but football and rugby or sport or getting pissed, shagging. You don't really get into the deeper conversations with your mates, really. Not many of your mates, anyway. So anyway, Van got me to come, and I sort of met that group, our group at the minute, and got to know the much wider men's group circles, and yeah, really started to notice just these little benefits of improvements in myself and the way I reacted to things and situations, and just and making mates.
Can't remember at what stage through there that I was actually quite suicidal. Probably almost jumped out of a window at one point. Mainly because I just didn't feel like there was a way out of the relationship that I was in. It was either stay in it and be really miserable, or take my life, because I couldn't figure out how to get out of it. It's pretty crazy, but now that I think about that, but that's where I was. So yeah, I think men's group helped me a lot to get to a place of having enough strength to move out of that situation that was really unhealthy for me.
That was weird, you know, because I just dropped into this environment with dudes I had never met before, and it's just comfortable. There was no, I didn't come in with a whole lot of issues, and it was just like actually just have some honest chat. And it's not all about fucking, you know, woe is me and I got this problem, that problem. It's just a lot of about being a guy is about this big front. And it's just and that's cool at times, you know. You have time and place for that, but actually there's also a time and place for having like real conversation, and yeah, that might take you on a path, you know, into a vulnerable space, or you know, you might hear someone else's story and it opens up a little window into this experience that formed you, you know, the man that you are today. So I just think, yeah, it's kind of like just a never-ending discovery, and yeah, I just get it just invigorates me, and I learn, and I love sharing that with you fellas, and like I said, really comfortable.
I guess it's just creating that opportunity of a space to stop and reflect on myself. Because it's so easy to get caught up in the everyday stuff, and you're just keeping on going, and not stopping to recognise, you know, hey, what I'm doing isn't really healthy. And just to have a group of men who've really got my back, and who will you know, throw alternative ideas at me that I wouldn't have considered, yeah, it gives me the space to get back on track in my life and reconnect with who I am.
Right. Now, I've been in this group for 10 years, and these guys have known my story for 10 years, and that there's a lot of value in that. They follow me and I follow them, and we are accountable to each other, and we call each other up on our bullshit. And for me, this goes even beyond just one group. This goes into all the other groups. Not long ago, I went to a group that I didn't know at all. I had seen two of the guys once, and I participated in their meeting, and I had some fairly a fairly tricky conflict to deal with that went pretty deep for me, and they invited me to bring it into the group, which, as I said, I didn't know, and I trusted the culture.
So, on International Men's Day, we held open days in Nelson and in Kaikoura. We received grants from the Department of Internal Affairs and the Kaikoura Violence Free Network. We had administrative support from Rise Living Safe in Nelson, which runs non-violent safety programs for men, women and families. On the day, we had a talk by Royce Willis, an ex-All Black, who told the men attending about his journey from the tough world of professional sports to a gentler, more caring world. Local counsellor and a psychotherapist both gave presentations and took the group through exercises. And then there was a talk about the changing role of men using archetypes to explore it. Then we had 2 dance workshops, and the day was rounded up with a band and a barbecue. There was a lot of informal chatting with existing group members talking to new men about what we do. We also had displays and information from the Men's Shed, which provides more practical support for men creating building projects for themselves or their community. From Rise Living Safe and from the Mail Room, which provides counselling support for men with an emphasis on supporting men who are survivors of sexual abuse. Our men's work is seen as supporting the women and other minorities in our lives. There are countless examples of men reporting back how their relationships and families are strengthened by having good male support. Around 100 people attended in Nelson, coming from Nelson, Motueka and Golden Bay, and about 15 in Kaikoura. That will help to enlarge our groups and start new groups that will be supported by the existing groups. Now that we've had one successful Men's Open Day, we look forward to it becoming an annual event and to expanding our work so men's groups become more accessible to men who feel the need for more support in their lives. We've developed a web page at mensgroup.nz and a Facebook group that you can find using keywords Men's Groups Nelson. We intend building on this web presence as a way of existing groups keeping in contact and collaborating to provide a way into men's work for men searching for support. Now that we're on the move, we are providing a place for men to go for peer support, so we empower each other to move forward into a brighter future.